Hey guys, so the XYZ Festival is happening on Master Duel, so I thought I'd bring my deck list for Cyber Dragons in this format, as well as some replays. Now, please keep in mind that because with the XYZ Festival, your extra deck has to be all XYZ monsters. This is definitely far from the ideal playstyle and deck list for Cyber Dragons, so if you're learning how to play Cyber Dragons for the first time, this video is definitely not it, and I would recommend that you check my other replay and guide videos, but this is more so for fun. And so I'll just go over my deck list, and keep in mind, honestly, it's not a good list, I don't think, especially because just by having to have only XYZ monsters in the extra deck, it does change our main deck quite a bit as well. So for example, I am playing Droll, and the only reason for this is because I wanted to make sure that I'm not buying any or crafting any ultra rare cards just for this festival. I just wanted to go with whatever's the cheapest, and the reason for Droll is because I wanted to try something janky with the Artifact Journal, which essentially can do something similar to like the Trickstar Reincarnation, where after your opponent adds something, you can use this effect to make both players shuffle their hand and draw, but if you were to change Droll, then we wouldn't be able to draw. So trying to basically put their entire hand back into the deck. I never got to do it because it's extremely situational, but I decided to put it because it's a super rare. And although the downside with that is that it does conflict with Max C, because if you resolve this, then you're not going to draw anything off of Max C. But it's not likely to draw both, and even if you do, for example, I had an instance where they just ashed the Maxi anyways, and I still got to resolve the Droll. But it's not something I'm too worried about, and like I said, I already know this deck list is not that optimal. So now another thing you'll notice is that we don't have Overload Fusion or Cyberload Fusion, and this is because we can't play any fusion monsters, right? So that really hinders this deck. And just this deck typically has a good balance of fusion, XYZ, and link monsters, and just not having any of those other than XYZ really makes this deck awkward. And one thing is that I did go with triple Galaxy Soldier, and this is because I was having difficulty, because without Almirage, Repair Plant becomes really dead a lot when you're making out your plays, because you need that baby Cyber Dragon engrave, and you're not able to put it there easily. So having just that extra soldier kind of helps, but again, it's just not optimal. And so with the extra deck, I wanted to make sure that I did not spend any ultra rare craft points for this festival. And the only reason I have two Pallades is because I actually managed to pull both in the same pack. But if you don't, I honestly would not recommend trying to get an Pallades for ultra rare just for this festival. Reality is, most of the time you're just going against self-FTK decks anyways, so I never even brought this out. The next one, normal, so it's very cheap. This is kind of funny. It's 2 level 5 monsters, and basically you can target a opponent's monster, and then you can destroy it, and then also burn them based on their original attack. So that's the reason I put it in, just for some fun burn damage. This one, Wind Up Arsenals and Mayo. Another requires 2 level 5s. Basically it's there to destroy 2 set cards on the field. So kind of more like a back row removal card. Another one is this, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Honestly, it's awful. It's awful. 3 level 5s, you're never summoning that. I just put it in because it's well, I can technically summon it. So your extra deck for this SSL is probably going to be looking pretty weird. Basically, for this one, you can basically detach your material, send top 3 cards of your opponent's deck to the graveyard, and then based on the number of monsters that were sent, you can destroy that many cards that your opponent controls. The Nova, I typically play 2 anyways. I had 7 Novas that I pulled, so I'm okay, I'll just put the 3rd one, even though I'm never going to summon that. And the Durandal, like I mentioned earlier, with that sort of similar to Trickstar Reincarnation Droll combo. I never got to do it, but it would be fun if I can pull it off. Another one is Doom Chimera. This one also requires 2 or more level 5s. Basically, it can attack all of your opponent's monsters, and then at the end of the battle phase, you can either, if it battled, you can target a monster in your graveyard, attach this material. You could attach the hers, and then, or you can instead choose a card in your opponent's graveyard and place it on top of their deck. This guy, Drill Driver, you typically see it in Zodiac. It's a Piercer. I never really summon it because you actually also have this guy to pierce, and technically this is more so to just overlay on top of your infinities, just so you have an extra material, so that when you go into Zeus, you can actually end up having 6 materials with this deck and this version, so that you can board wipe 3 times. And so, like I mentioned, this deck is just far from optimal. Having only XYZ monsters makes this such an awkward way to play. And again, if you're wanting to learn how to play Cyber Dragons, this video is not it. But yeah, let's just get right to the replays. So this first replay I think is against some kind of burn deck. I'm not sure. You see a lot of weird stuff so far in the XYZ Festival. Mostly people are just trying to kill themselves just because you still get points regardless. And I'll get to that near the end of the video. So he's going to play Burning Land. This is kind of a throwback. This is a very old card. I definitely remember this as a kid. Oh, I should have mentioned I tried Monster Reborn at the start. I ended up taking that out. I do take 500. He's going to take 500 as well on his standby. See, this is where it gets really weird. You get the repair plan. Normally, you'd be able to go into the All Mirage and then search the Galaxy Soldier, but because we can't play All Mirage because you have to have only XYZ monsters, we can't do anything. So you just get kind of stuck here. So this is just a very awkward board. So he's going to take 500, of course. He's going to Kaiju me. I mean, not that my core was really much of a threat. And he's going to try to attack with the Raffian. So Time Lord's definitely a really unique / weird deck. Basically, doesn't take any damage, and then I take... let's see, for this one, I'm basically taking equal to the attack of the monster that I control. So I'm going to take another 500, so this is kind of a weird, annoying deck. But our repair plan is finally live now. And also, because we don't have something like Seeger or Anaconda or Rampage, you do have to play Cyber Dragons very in a different fashion. But the Soldier and Hers combo will still exist. And so we will, with the Hers, we're just going to add back the Core Engrave actually. We do already have the 2 original Cyber Dragons, so no need to add another one. And so we'll just get that other Galaxy Soldier, pitch that, summon the Soldier, and then we'll just go into our Nova. And then use Nova's effect, detach material for cost, and then just special summon that Cyber Dragon back. And then typically, you know, we would, I guess he's just trying to just play another trap for burn before I go into infinity, so he's aware of that. Typically, you know, you would just, like, for example, you could use these 2 for Anaconda, bring out Rampage, but unfortunately it is the XYZ Festival, so we can't do that typical line of play. So now we're gonna go with a different way of OTKing, purely through just like normal or regular monsters and XYZ monsters. So we will bring back that Cyber Dragon with the Naxtra. We are locked into machines now. You can use Nova's effect again. It's a soft once per turn, which essentially means once per turn per copy. And so now with Infinity, we will suck up that Time Lord, and we can just proceed right to battle. He is going to try to pay life points to try to boost its defense. We of course have the Infinity to be able to negate and destroy that. And even if he didn't pay, we do have enough for game because Nova can also pump itself up with its effect, just like I'm doing right there. And so we do take this one, and yeah, we didn't have to bring out an Anaconda or anything. So let's just move on to the next one. So this next replay, I do lose this one, and I do make a pretty dumb misplay because I just don't know how to read, and I try to win in a funny way, and it just sort of ended up backfiring. Our opponent is going to start with Chicken Game, and this is a card that I'm referring to in terms of that I didn't read. This card is banned in the actual TCG, and I never played it while it was legal, so I didn't. This is actually, I think, my first time playing against this card. So I guess this is Raidraptor, so he's going to use that effect, and he's going to bring out Ultimate Falcon, which is unaffected by essentially everything. And then he's actually going to overlay right on top for the 7 Sins, basically a big booty. And then also Kaiser Coliseum. This card's another card that's banned in the TCG, but basically I'm not going to be able to summon more than what he has, so basically I'll only be able to summon one, the core. So that's why I'm just not even specialing that Cyber Dragon, because I need to get access to that overflow. So we're just going to have to pass there. We are going to have to take some damage, or I guess not actually. Actually, yes I do. I see, I don't know Chicken Game. Basically, whoever has lesser life points, they're not going to take damage. So I am going to take 36 there, right to the dome, but you know what? We did gain a lot of life points from that upstart goblin, so we will at least be able to use our overflow, at least hopefully try to pop both the Kaiser Coliseum and the Chicken Game. But unfortunately the Ghost Spell, because this card does not banish for cost, Ghost Spell can actually negate it, so that really sucks, especially since I'm only playing one. And because this is also best of 1, it's not like we can like side for the next 2 games. So we're just gonna stall. So we're gonna bring out the Hers through Core's effect. And so he's gonna use Chicken Game again, pay another 1,000. He's gonna use Terraforming, essentially just to get another Chicken Game. No reason to ash that. And so he'll just activate one more, and then use the effect again, and just to draw. And with the battle phase, he will attack over the Hers. And then we'll trigger the Hers, makes our machine dupe kind of less live, but we are just trying to stall here. And so for now, for our turn, we draw the repair plan. So we're going to actually set Hers again. And because we have another Hers engraved, you can actually add back that other Hers. when this gets sent to the graveyard. Obviously, if this is the only one that's in the graveyard, you can't just add back that same hers. But when you're in a situation like this also kind of happens when your opponent has like the last warrior alive or whatever, the fusion, when they come out of Waking the Dragon. You can just kind of loop your hers just to stall and then just keep going back and forth. So for turn, we have just a bunch of extenders that we can't really do much with. We're just going to keep stalling until we hopefully draw a Lightning Storm and just get rid of the Chicken Game and the Kaiser Coliseum. So he's going to use that again, and then he's going to summon the Kinkabyo. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and I will just use Max T here. Not a lot of opportunities so far to use this card, and so it will resolve. So he's going to be able to special the Raidraptor, and I do get to draw one, unfortunately a dead card, and he gets to bring the Satellite, and then plays the Rank Up Magic, so that he can bring the Ultimate Conductor. Or sorry, not Ultimate Conductor, I'm getting confused with Dinos. Ultimate Falcon. So we are going to trigger the hers again, and we'll just add back the other hers. And then he's just going to pass turn, and then the cards will just bounce right back. And I will take 1,000 burn damage, unfortunately. But he is at 2,000. So I'm like, okay, you know what? And he has 2 monsters. So I'm like, I have the repair plan for the Kaiju. So I start doing the rank 5 plays. And instead, I actually decide to be funny. I thought I'd go into this guy to try to burn for game. And because, you know, they're unaffected, I of course will need to add the Kaiju and then pop the Kaiju and try to burn that. The problem is I don't know how to read, and I just forgot that he's not going to take burn damage. So, you know, I was trying to be pretty goofy there. Unfortunately, it did not turn out well. Of course, I could have done something different, like, for example, like Nova. And you can use, like, Nova's effect. Aside from bringing back the Cyber Dragon, you could also attack over one of the two because it could pump itself to a 42. And then the Infinity could just, like, suck this one up. But it's okay. He had the drop anyways that could bring it back. And he's using some hand destruction just to draw. It doesn't really matter for us because we're probably going to die. And he has the Monster Reborn as well. So he's going to bring back my Kaiju just to add insult to wound. And going to go right into battle without the Chicken Game. I am just going to take damage now. Well, I guess I would have taken damage anyways. And then he will attack me for game with my own Kaiju. So yeah, honestly, as unfortunate as that was from the misplay, it was actually really funny and I enjoyed this one. Okay, so this third replay is against Utopia, and it's a deck that I'm seeing quite a lot at the XYZ event. I mean, aside from the Self-FTK decks, of course. And I believe I was forced to go first. So I'm just going to start off with the Emergency. Unfortunately, it is met with an Ash. And typically, if you had All Mirage, and you would be able to, you know, bring out like your Infinity. But unfortunately, because we can only have XYZ monsters, we can't get this core to the grave. And honestly, I would just pass anyways if I'm forced to go first, at least in Master Duel. And so he's going to start off with the Zexal Construction, basically revealing whatever ZW monster to add another different one, and then he has to return back that revealed monster, and then he'll summon the Ascended Sage. I'm just going to maxi just before he quote-unquote pops off, so at least I can get some draws. He's going to summon the Utopia. We'll be able to draw a card, and I get the Machine Dupe. And now he's going to be basically based on the materials. He essentially can add like a rank up magic and also another, I believe, ZW monster. And so he's going to add the Tornado guy. And then he'll add up that rank up magic. So now he's going to use that spell and then bring out Utopia Ray. And then he'll be able to equip it with the Tornado. Basically, now this card can essentially be a monster negate. Also, it can be it's protected from targeting. And it also gains a bunch of attack from these two cards equipped to it. So I do take 6,800 damage. He does have 2 sets, so that's a little bit more concerning. So for turn, we draw the Ash. Not really good. Cyber Dragon. And he uses Bottomless. I'm like, is this like 2010? So I couldn't really take this list seriously anymore, so I do use the Droplet just to get rid of it anyways, and then we can just negate the Utopia Ray just so that it can't negate my core, and we'll just summon the core. He's going to try to negate it. Of course, it is negated through Droplet, and so we will be able to resolve, and we're actually going to add the Emergency just so that we have another way of going into Nova Infinity if this Machine Dupe somehow fails. So we'll bring out the 2 Cyber Dragons, looking good so far, and I'm actually going to go into that Volcano for the burn, just so I can pop this, burn him, and then go into like Nova play after, but he does have to Torrential, so he's just going to blow up everything instead. But no matter, and then I can fast forward from here. We're just going to do our typical Soldier Hers play. Chainlink 1 Soldier, Chainlink 2 Hers. And then we'll just get the Cyber Dragon Engrave. And then the the Galaxy Soldier, just to add itself. And then we'll just do it one more time, just so we can go into Nova. And then use that effect, detach. We're gonna just not fast forward anymore. We're gonna bring up the Hers just so we can attach it with the Infinity, so that we can trigger its effect when it gets sent to grave next turn, for example. And so we'll just suck that up. We're gonna battle, and you could leave it Infinity. Heals, of course, only will have one card, and you can just negate whatever he ends up drawing. I actually decided to go into Zeus just so I can like have a better chance of killing him the turn after, because if he at least like sets something, for example, I can Zeus, get the Hers trigger, and also send the Nova, and then, you know, get like the core and just kind of go from there. He does have the field spell. There was no need for him to really play that, but you know, now I do get to Zeus, and I can just trigger that Hers, and then we can add the core from grave. So nothing for him, so we really do have this in the books. So for draw, we draw the droplet, and then we're just gonna put the Zeus in attack mode, use core's effect, and add the emergency just so we can get access to the Naxter. And then we'll use that, and then now we can just pitch that Ash just so we can special out the Naxter, and then use that effect. We will special out Nova. We're now locked into machines, doesn't matter, and now we have enough for game. We'll attack with Zeus first, and then we'll just keep it simple. We'll just use Nova's effect right here just to pump it to 42 and attack for game. So let's just move on to the next one. Okay, so this last replay isn't even much of a replay. It's just an example of like just all these self-FTK decks going around, which makes this Xyz event very, very boring to play in, because all they're doing is trying to kill themselves as quickly as possible, because even when you lose in this event, you do still get the like the medals or whatever just to get your gems. So basically, as you can see, they're doing anything they can to kill themselves as quickly as possible. This one, they kind of failed. I've had instances where they would just be able to kill themselves on the first turn. Basically, if these cards get sent to grave, they're just going to take 3,000 damage each. And so I'm just going to fast forward at this point. Really, you know, it's just me trying to, I guess, finish this quickly as possible. I know that's what they want as well. And so yeah, I mean, if you don't play Master Duel and you're just sort of living vicariously through others, through the replays, I guess you won't really know. But for the other people that are playing in this event so far, I think you guys are all aware of all these type of decks running around. I think it's just basically like, you know, quote unquote tier 1 for the Xyz format, because they just want their gems. And so here I'll just not fast forward anymore. I even let this go. There's no reason for me to negate it. Unfortunately, I actually take the damage here, but I am going to go into Zeus and just help him, well, get what he wants. We'll go into Gaia. There was no need for this. I don't know why I bothered doing that. And then we'll just go into the Zeus, and then he does have 4,000. He's about to take 6,000 when these get sent to grave. And so yeah, it's honestly really, really strange having to see this kind of deck pretty much like at least like 80% of the time. So yeah, I don't know if Konami will do something to at least ban this type of deck, but until then, I think you're just gonna have to expect to see most of these. Okay guys, so back to the deck list. Like I said, this list isn't really optimal, and especially with having to have just only Xyz monsters makes this deck really clunky and awkward to play. Certainly not something I would recommend if you wanted a really good sort of smooth strategy for this festival. But if you only play Cyber Dragons like me, and you don't want to bother spending extra craft points just to make a new deck for this festival, you know, just have some fun. Try to find some other different rank 5s or whatever that can make it work. I think it was kind of fun trying to bring this out. Never got to resolve it, but you know, it was pretty fun. I really wish I could do the Durandal Droll combo as well. Hopefully you guys are able to pull that off just for fun. But yeah, I think overall this was kind of interesting to do, and hopefully you guys were able to have some fun from this event as well. Take care, guys.